Good morning. And you know what I would think is would be super cool is having a little theme song. I'm gonna have to come up with one. And so today we are on chapter 2 in discussing time. This section I will really be doing with you guys because I haven't done it yet. So the only section I did in this book was fears. So let's start with the devotion. And it is coming out of Psalms. This really small prayer. I don't know. Hold on, y'all. I just heard it again. Okay, I'm not paying attention. Oh, look, it's a comment. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? All right. So the devotion is, so teach us to count our days so that we will become wise. And that's pretty simple. Don't you think that's pretty simple? Let's see what she says in this section. It says, the last roller coaster I rode was like most. A super slow start creeping up the incline, and then all of a sudden the speed picks up and the remainder of the ride is crazy fast with all kinds of twists and turns. Now let me just say that the wooden roller coaster experience for a limber, young 15-year-old is completely different than for a 40-something who forgot she wasn't 15 and had to go directly to the chiropractor after the whole jerky experience. But anyways, I digress. Time is so much like the roller coaster, isn't it? I don't know. I used to love roller coasters, and then we went to Lake Winnesoka maybe 2 years ago, and almost threw up on a little wooden roller coaster ride. It didn't do nothing, y'all. It was very jerky, and I was like, I can't do this no more. And then you remember the little yo-yo swing where you would sit in there and then kind of go over? Well, it went over the water, and again, I almost threw up. I was like, this is too much. So then she says, our early years seem to creep along at a snail's pace. We think we'll never be a teenager. Then we think we'll never be 16 and get our driver's license. Then we think we'll never be 18 out the door to college. But alas, we get that far and things start to speed up pretty quickly. Time flies by an astounding clip. Yeah, she ain't lying. When we wrap our minds around the reality that life is fast and we have finite number of days, we see the need to use our time wisely, but not to accomplish more. Today's verse is not teach us to number our days that we may squeeze in every last thing on our to-do list. No, when we think about how to spend the time that's flying by so fast, it should be a call to get our priorities straight. We should start asking, are the people and things that are most important to me getting first dibs on my time, or are they getting my leftovers? Numbering our days means prioritizing who and what receives our time. We can only create breathing room once we've acknowledged that our time is limited. So we must limit what we do with our time. I didn't journal any thoughts, but I guess what I think about that is, what are we doing that is too much? I don't know. I think it's almost the same thing as the fear. You want everything to get done. But does it necessarily have to be done? Does it have to be right now? Do you have to? Can you take, the 30 minutes and listen to what your kid has to say? Or just even listen to what yourself is saying? I don't know. It's kind of hard. And then if you've done it your whole life like that, where you just continuously filled up your time, it's kind of hard to take down time initially in the beginning. You'll have to retrain your brain. So the first question, I'm learning you guys when it comes to this stuff. It says that you're supposed to do on your own, because you ain't got to tell me, but if you do put in the comments, great, because I answer too. Write down the names of the 3 people who currently claim most of your time. I could give like 3 sections of my life, but I can't necessarily give like clear people. So I have to work on that. And then the next question is, if you want to give your time to the people who are most important to you, is there anyone on the list who doesn't belong? Is there anyone missing? Gosh, I'll have to do that, because I think I'm doing better. Like, I think I did really good section a little bit. So I think I'm prioritizing. Like the other day I had to message a client and was like, hey, I got a message from Elijah's best friend, and I volunteered to chaperone the party of teenagers because I still want to be involved and I want to be there. So I had to move my schedule around and see if they can switch days or something, because I want to go. I want to go. I don't want to be stuck doing business stuff when I could be hanging out with the kid. So, and he's not a kid anymore. He is like a full-on teenager. I want to have a teenager, you guys. Okay. Yeah, we gotta do better with like who we prioritize our time, or who's taking up our time. And y'all have people that just suck up your time, where you're like, why every time I feel like I'm gonna do something for myself, this person messages me or calls me or needs something. Those are your time suckers, and you gotta list that, because when you sit back and think about it, normally they could have done whatever they needed you to do themselves, or you could have like directed them somewhere to like get them help, and they just wanted you to do it. That person, you got to reevaluate that relationship. We often have people like that, and we don't realize that. So yes, yeah, girl, I know exactly. I had a few. So then the next question is, here it is. I'm trying to stick to the thing. Write down the 3 activities or organizations that currently claim most of your time. Now, I'm not a part of any organizations. I do have something that we are working on currently, but I think that is going to be really good. Well, I have two things. So I'm okay. I'm okay with both of those, because it actually is going to be community driven, and eventually the community is going to take off doing it, and it's going to be amazing. It is. I think we're going to really make some really good changes. And then 2, if you want to give your time to the causes that are most important to you, is there anything on this list you don't have a particular passion for? Is there anything missing? And that's why the community situation is coming into play, because I love the youth and doing stuff with them, and just love people in general. So we're going to try to get together and combine resources and get everybody all on the same page as the community, so that we can touch lives and make changes. And that's going to be a real focus this year, the rest of the year for me, which is really great, because that's what I love it. That's why I love it. So it was like pretty simple today, you guys. Like, we're 9 minutes in. Does anybody have any questions? Is there anything that you want to talk to in regards to the time situation? Because I know sometimes it's like, there's some people that I know that are what I would like to call the advice person, the person that everybody comes to. And then they never have anybody to go to when they need, a shoulder to cry on, somebody to vent to, somebody to understand what they're going through. So I've been there. You know what I'm saying? I think everybody thinks that I'm like super strong all the time. There are days, you guys, where I just randomly cry for absolutely no reason because I'm just mentally exhausted, and that is okay. I think there's this stigma or assumption that you can't have those moments of just I don't want to do this today. I don't want to do this today. I don't want to do this for nobody. And you have a right to, because we're human and we have these emotions, and God didn't give us these emotions for us not to feel them. What we like to do is say, I'm not feeling this, and then you blow up. And so you've got to feel that emotion. You just can't let the emotion control you. Does that make sense? Like, yes, you can be angry, but you can't let anger control you. Yes, you can be sad, but you can't stay in sadness. You know what I'm saying? Just have the moment. Be like, dang, I really don't feel it today. But you have to have the word or the scriptures to counter that. That's why it says, cast down every evil imagination that exalts itself against the knowledge of Christ. The knowledge of Christ is joy, peace, love. You know what I'm saying? Slow to anger. But you have to counter that with the word. But you are allowed to feel it. You just don't want it to consume you. And so that is where we need to get. And so I think that was my morning. I just kind of went all like, I don't know where that came from. But hopefully it touched somebody and you get a clear understanding of what God is expecting of us. He really wants us to have time with him. And I think that us not having time with him is why when these storms come, we're more reactive than ready for it. We're not responding. We're not properly prepared. We're reacting to the things that come along. So everybody have a happy Wednesday. Wednesday is it's supposed to be my day of like not so busy, but Wednesdays ends up being my busy day. And so I'm trying to figure out why Wednesday ends up being my most busy day of the week. I'll work on that. I just don't, this was my thing yesterday, but then I had to read. Yes, Rakita, yes, definitely. You have to read the word to get back centered, because if you do anything else, all it's going to do is either feed it, like whatever you're going through more, or it's going to get worse. And so the word actually calms you down, and it recenters you, and it refocuses you, which thank God for the word. And that's why, I think in the fear section it says, what do? You take care of it with the word. And once we do that, y'all, we'll be okay. We'll become male, female, youth. If we get that concept that the word is there to feed our spirit, to help center us, to help us change, to be better people, this life, I think there's a verse that says we take away from the simplicity in Christ. And we do. We make it way harder than it gotta be. I gotta tickle my throat. So sorry, you guys. I do not have the Rona. Okay. So everybody have a happy Wednesday. And do not work too hard. Yeah, this is too much right here. Hold on, y'all. All right. Have a happy Wednesday. And don't work too hard. And I'll be back for day 2. You know what I love about doing this with y'all? This morning, I didn't hit the snooze button like 4 times. And I feel like doing these is more therapeutic for me because I am devoted to doing it to ensure that I stick to what I said. And so in doing that, I'm getting fed too. And I'm redisciplining myself so that I can get the word in the morning before I let anything else in. Your gates, your eye gates, your ear gates, like what are the first 15 minutes of your day like? Is the first 15 minutes of your day looking at drama or reading a crazy message or on the phone with somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are your first 15 minutes like? You have got to make sure that you get some word in there, get some motivation in there, because you're got to be your best self, right? And that's all we want to do. We want to be great people. We want to be good people. And sometimes it's just hard. It's hard, especially if you get bad news in the middle of the night or something happens. I get it. But your first 15 minutes are so valuable because it is going to carry you your whole day. You know how that goes? Or you get a message in the middle of the day, you be like, dang, that just killed my whole spirit. But if you go back to your first 15 minutes, you be like, but the word of God's there. You know, I am the head, not the tail. You have to have that in your spirit. And so I'm done. I'm just talking about it because I can talk about it all day. I don't know. So I love you guys. Don't forget to like and share, because even if it didn't touch you, it could touch somebody else. And that's the point, okay? And then I will see you tomorrow bright and early in the morning. All right.